Yes, welcome into Sportsbook 2.0 Betting Insight today. Pauly and Teddy, Thursday, March 22nd. We'll get back to college basketball and big game breakdown. Also an interesting handicap. The Pelicans at home again against the Lakers. Fifth game in 6 days, third game in 3 nights. We'll get to that as well. Turn on the shot clock and play of the day before we get out of here. We'll do top and bottom ROI in NHL with 2 great numbers on over teams in the NHL who happen to play each other tonight. We'll run that down coming up. And a little ATS in the association as well. Bad beats, bad bets, bad for the books. Horrible beat in the association. Nets +1 at home against the Hornets. Led by 23 with 6 minutes left in the third. Led by 11 with 5 minutes left in the game. They lose. Dwight Howard with 32 and 30 in the win, Teddy.
Yeah, I mean, they were dogs. They were dogs. They were up 20 early. They were up 23 in the middle of the third quarter. But a 22-5 Hornets run out over the last 5 minutes. 111-105 final. Charlotte comes back from the dead, and it was all Dwight Howard. 30-30 last night. Only Moses Malone and Kevin Love have done that in the last 40 years. And then you say, all right, what happened? How did they turn it around? Here's the quote from Dwight Howard. Tell me how you handicap this. I just thought my energy and effort wasn't where it needed to be for our team to be successful. Got a text at halftime from somebody, and it kind of got me motivated and gave me some extra energy. How do you handicap that? You know, who's he getting text from at halftime? Bottom line is I had the Nets last night. I did not enjoy that one, Pauly. That was a bad beat.
What could have been with that guy? He never worked on or improved his offensive game and always struggled from the free throw line. That was a shame. A bad bet. Very bad. This is horrible. Raptors Cavs under 228 down to 225. And the Raptors from pick up to 2 with the guys that were out for the Cavs. 79 points at half for the Raptors. The Cavs become the first team since 1990 to win a game after giving up that many points in the first half. And LeBron, 35, first guy with 35, 15, and no turnovers since 77-78 when they tracked turnovers. And somehow the Cavs come back and win in a shootout. What a game this was.
Yeah, I mean, whoever's betting Cleveland games under the total is using a metric that I just don't understand. I mean, there was significant steam on that under yesterday. And I know, okay, Toronto wants to slow it down. Toronto's a better defensive team. Doesn't matter. Cavs aren't playing any defense, and their offense continues to be extraordinary. 17 assists without a turnover last night from LeBron. That's certainly an impressive showing. All the money on the under, all the money on Toronto. Yeah, bad bets, Pauly. No other way to describe them.
This was bad luck. The Bucks from 4.5 up to 6. Greek Freak only played a half. He left with a bad ankle, played only 16 minutes actually. Clippers won the game outright, led by 19 in the fourth quarter. I don't know what they were doing here. Nuggets Bulls under 222 down to 215.5. The Nuggets dropped 135 on the Bulls. And Oklahoma State in the NIT, they had a ton of fans at the game. They remember they gave the students free tickets, 4.5 up to 6.5, and the total from 147.5 to 150.5. Side was wrong, total was right.
Yeah, I mean, Nuggets Bulls, the Nuggets had 7 players in double digits last night. They shot 61% from the floor, and that game could have been worse. It was already sitting at 113 for Denver going into the fourth quarter. You had the Nuggets. That was the right side. You had the under. That clearly was a wrong side. And Western Kentucky, I mean, NIT Road Dogs, 4-0 straight up. 4-0 against the spread in the final round before heading to Madison Square Garden. The motivation was there for the Road Warriors. None of the higher seeds advanced. All that Okie State money, that was wrong. The Hilltoppers head to Madison Square Garden.
This will be a fun bet for the books. One in the association. Knicks Heat over 214.5 to 217.5. Whoops. Lands right in the middle with 217. Nice win for the Heat last night. They're going to make the playoffs. Only question will be the 7 or the 8 seed.
Yeah, and, you know, as a clinic, Eric Spoelstra continues to be one of my favorite NBA head coaches. Clinic last night. How do you grind out a bad team when you need a win for playoff positioning, but you don't want to use up any energy? Simple. No one played more than 30 minutes. 6 different players scored at least 12 points. And the Knicks, well, their defense, they're not even trying right now. I would hope the Jeff Hornacek days are coming to an end in New York. The Knicks not playing with a whole lot of passion.
All right, how about this move? This is Stations Casinos here in Vegas. Is a square shop. So the Penguins open 220 all the way up to 310. 280 at most places. They win 5-3. So a 90-cent move on a hockey game. That was bananas, which leads us to top ROI in the NHL. Been the number one for a long time in all of sports. The Golden Knights plus all. Well, you bet $100 on every Golden Knights game. You're up almost 20 units, almost $2,000. A lot higher. Been crushing the books all year. Plus 1960 return on investment with the Golden Knights. They're in action tonight against the San Jose Sharks. Nashville number 2 plus 17 units. Colorado 14. Tampa Bay almost 13. And the Winnipeg Jets checking in at almost plus 12 units. The bottom, Montreal Canadiens, they played Pittsburgh last night, the big move against them. You're down over 22 units betting against Montreal. If you're betting $100 every game. Chicago, what a disaster it's been this year for the Blackhawks, checking in at number 2 along with Detroit, Arizona, and Buffalo. And these two teams play tonight, the Islanders and the Lightning. Tampa Bay 45-26-1 to the over. And the Islanders 44-25-3 to the over. The total is 6.5 tonight on ice between those teams. That's been the gift that keeps on giving. In the association, if anything surprises you here, Teddy, top 3 teams ATS, Boston number 1. I'll tell you what a job Stevens has done. No one cried, no one pouted when they lost Hayward in the first game. They ripped off that long winning streak after that. 42-26-2, followed by Portland and Toronto. And the bottom 3 ATS leading the way, no surprise, historically bad. The Cavs 24-46-1, followed by Milwaukee, and the Thunder are 31-42 ATS. Those numbers courtesy of Covers.com.
What we try to do here on Sportsbit, we try to give you information and then give you ideas for the future about how to use this information. When you're talking about the top and bottom point spread teams, for the future, for next year, think about these concepts. Number 1, why are the Celtics best? Because they lost Gordon Hayward on opening night. And everyone said, oh, they're not going to be as good now.
Yeah,
they have been, and they were. Portland, a team that was mediocre, and then boom, turned it on. The midseason morph for the Blazers. Those tend to be the best teams, ATS. 3, Toronto. What are the Raptors? Out of the spotlight, man. You're playing up in Canada. You don't get the TV exposure that many of the U.S. teams do. That's why you have those at the top 3. The bottom 3, the one that surprised, we've been talking about the Cavs and the Oklahoma City all year. The Bucks free fall against the spread over the last month and a half is something that has been underreported, both here on the show and elsewhere. Milwaukee, been a point spread disaster area, lost again last night, both straight up and against the spread.
Yep. 2 of those 3 are brand name bias. They're just betting LeBron, and at one point they were 19-40 against the spread. You're right. Big game breakdown up next. We'll get to the unique handicapping spot with the Lakers and the Pelicans. And then we'll get to more Sweet 16 games coming up on Sportsbit 2.0. Betting Insight today on SBRpicks.com.
Like the show? Help us keep the lights on. Please make sure to comment, share, and subscribe to all the Sportsbook Review videos. Thanks so much. Best of luck. Enjoy the game.